Ta-da. All right, good morning, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I will determine if there's probable cause for those charges, and then we'll set your conditions of pretrial release, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've got a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I will gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. I'll solemnly swear affirm, tell truth, whole truth, none but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Kelly Pryor. Morning, Ms. Pryor. What's your date of birth?
9/29/71.
All right. Kelly, this is a probable cause arrest for a violation of probation. There is PC for that. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
That's right. I have a private counsel.
All right. Bond, of course, on the VOP is going to be no bond. I will have you back in court on the 13th of August. Make sure that when you contact your lawyer, you let them know about that court date, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Kimberly Bramer. All right, Kimberly, what's your date of birth?
February 1981.
Kimberly, I have two charges today. I've got resisting an officer with violence and disorderly intoxication. My probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you think you can afford to hire an attorney?
Yes.
All right. Then I'm going to have you try to do that before we give you a public defender, okay?
Okay.
All right. And state, what can you tell me?
I'm sorry?
Hang on a second.
One prior DUI in 2001.
And Kimberly, I have an address for you on Malcolm Avenue in Hudson. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
About a year and a half.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I'm a real estate broker.
Okay. All right. Kim, I'm going to set your bond on the resisting at 1,000 and on the disorderly intox at 500, so your total is 1,500. I'm going to have you back in court on the 13th of August. When you find a lawyer to talk to, make sure you tell them that court date is coming up, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. Nancy Everhart. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
12/22/1966.
Nancy, you're hearing a warrant signed by Judge Toner. Apparently you failed to appear in front of him on a charge of failed to re-deliver hired vehicle. Did you have an attorney representing you in that case, Nancy?
Yes, I had an appointed attorney, and I was told by the clerk to be there at 1:15. I got there at 12:15, and they said court was already done. So apparently it was just a mistake.
Right. And
the time they told me, so I should have been there early that morning, but they made a mistake and told me the wrong time. So I don't know.
What I'm going to do is continue the appointment of the public defender. It looks like we're going to get you back. The bond on the warrant is no bond, which I can't change here. Actually, there's 2 warrants with 4 counts. Yeah. There's the one was the failed to redeliver, and the other is shooting into a building, improper exhibition of firearm, and use of a firearm under the influence of alcohol.
That wasn't drinking.
Just stop. We're all coming back tomorrow morning at 8:30. All these charges will be back tomorrow, which is the 18th of July. You'll be on no bond until then, and then you can tell Judge Toner about the mistake that led you to not be in court. Okay? Very good.
Okay.
Thank you. Seda Franco. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
6582.
All right, there are 4 charges today. 2 counts of possession of cocaine, 1 count of possession of marijuana, 1 count of tampering with evidence. State, did you read this one?
No.
Okay. Cocaine is cocaine, as far as I'm concerned, and the number of baggies that she had it in doesn't make it multiple counts of possession in my mind. The other thing, the tampering, was the deputy watching her allegedly toss the cocaine into the front seat of the car and then recovering it from there. So I'm going to find no PC on, I guess, the 2nd count of possession of cocaine and no PC on the tampering. I'll find probable cause for the 1st cocaine and the marijuana. And then you guys can take it from there. So say that I'm finding probable cause on 2 of these counts and not on 2. Doesn't mean they might not charge you eventually, but as far as today is concerned, on the 2nd and 4th count, you're going to be ROR. We'll set bonds on the 1st and 3rd count. So on the 2 counts I'm finding PC for, do you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD and state.
Let's see. We have theft in 2006, a couple of those. 1 in 2007, and a couple in 2007. These are all in New York. Let's see. Welfare fraud, 2007. Grand theft, 2009. Did 18 months on that. Assault, 3rd degree with intent to cause physical injury, some kind of battery in 2012. All of that in New York. And then theft by deception in Pennsylvania. Not sure when that occurred. Can't tell. Sometime in the last decade.
Okay. And apparently there's some issue out of Broome County, I think New York. But all right, Ms. Franco, I have an address for you on Easy Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
2 years.
Do you have a job these days?
I just recently left my job.
Okay. What kind of work were you doing?
I was a sanitation technician at Premio.
Okay. All right. So on count 1, I will set your bond at $2,000. Count 2 is ROR. Count 3 is $1,000. Count 4 is ROR. So your total is $3,000. It looks like you have a hold out in New York. If you post the bonds on these charges, then we'll probably start processing that hold and figuring out what that is. If you can't post the bond, obviously you'll stay here until we get the local charges resolved, and then we'll talk about that hold. But these charges will be back the 13th of August. If you're able to get out, you should contact the public defender's office right away. If you can't get out, they're going to come see you at the jail, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Craig Keithley. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
June 10th, 1948, Sacramento, California, Mesa Air Force Base Hospital.
All right. You're here on a warrant signed by Judge Rupi. Apparently you failed to appear in her court relative to a charge of violation of an injunction. As to that charge, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like a public defender?
Yes, sir. I didn't understand any of that. If you could talk slowly, I might understand you.
All right. You're here on a warrant signed by Judge Rupi. She's a county judge here in Hernando County. Apparently, you were supposed to be in her courtroom on May 31st of 2018 to answer to a charge of violation of an injunction. And you were not there. So she issued this warrant to find out where you are. And now we've got you. So as to that charge, are you going to represent yourself? Do you plan to hire a private attorney? Or would you like me to appoint an attorney from the public defender's office?
I would like to have Jack Springstead as my personal representative attorney if he is willing.
Okay, I think Jack's been out of the county for some years now. He spends most of his time in Colorado.
Then Thompson would be another one.
Okay. Are you telling me that you want me to appoint a lawyer?
I want someone I know, not someone you appoint.
Okay, then you're going to have to go hire them on your own.
Yes, sir, I'll do that. I'm running for county commission. I was at the courthouse. They told me I had no record whatsoever. I have 2 residents right now, Sunset Motel and Oaks Mobile Home Park, trailer 27.
Okay, very good. Are you working these days?
I'm running for county commission.
Well, there you go. Okay. I'm going to leave the bond per Judge Rupe's warrant, which is the $2,000. I'll have you back in front of her on the 10th of August.
Sir, I have approximately over $30,000 in 4 banks in Hernando County.
Okay. Well, I need 2,000 of it at the jail so that you can get out. You'll be back in court on the 10th of August. Make sure when you hire your lawyer, tell him about that date. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. You're a fine gentleman.
Thank you. Batavia Meriwether. Morning again, sir. Date of birth?
12/7/93.
All right, Batavia. Now we have that warrant we talked about yesterday. It's a warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for 2 counts of ag assault with a firearm, 1 count of burglary of a dwelling with a firearm. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel, or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'm going to appoint the public defender. State I heard about his history yesterday, so I can dispense with that.
Thanks.
And Quatavia, I'm going to leave the bonds on these per the warrant, which is $10,000 on counts 1 and 2, $25,000 on count 3, for a total of $45,000. That adds to the $5,000 we set yesterday, so your total all the way around is $50,000. Condition of the bonds on this is that you have no contact with Michael Barnes and Anthony Miller. Do you remember me explaining no contact yesterday?
Yes, sir. I don't even know who those people are.
What's that?
I don't even know who those people are.
Okay, well, that's often the case, but so it'll be easy not to have contact with them. This case will also be back on the 13th of August. Like I said yesterday, if you get out, make sure you contact the PD. Otherwise, they'll come see you at the jail, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
For clarification, Your Honor, were his other cases from yesterday assigned for the 13th as
Yeah,
well?
it was also a felony. It was an ag battery.
Great, thanks.
Joseph Palma. Morning, Joseph. What's your date of birth?
6/19/93.
Joseph, first thing I have for you is a warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for 1 count of resisting without violence. Then I have another warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for a grand theft. And then we have arrests yesterday for battery on a law enforcement officer, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause all the way around. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to
Public defender.
Public defender. I'll appoint the PD. State, what can you tell?
Well, let's see. Theft in 2017, I'm not sure the disposition, that's all I can find.
And Joe, I have an address for you on Pintado Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
Oh, that's
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
not really.
Okay. On the resisting charge, I'll set the bond at $500. That one's coming back on the 10th of August. On the grand theft, I'll set the bond at $1,000. That one's coming back on the 13th of August. And I appointed the public defender in all of these. And then on the charges from yesterday, on the resisting, or the battery on a Leo, I'll set the bond at $2,500 and $500 on the paraphernalia. So it looks like your total all the way around is going to be $4,500, something like that. The Leo charge also coming back the 13th of August. If you bond out, it's very important that you contact the public defender right away, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gregory Rhodes. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
10/23/1967.
Figure you're here on a warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for one count of battery being domestic in nature. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire a private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender,
I'll
sir.
appoint the PD, State.
Culpable negligence, 2017. DUI, almost said speeding, that was the underlying offense. DUI, 2010. That's all I can find right now. Oh, and a breach of public peace in 2011, Rhode Island.
Figure I have an address for you on Pine Ridge Drive in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
Almost a year, sir.
Do you have a job these days?
I'm on disability.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond, Mr. Rhodes, at $500. Condition of that bond, however, is that you have no contact with Sheila Chapman. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't contact her through any social media. You don't have a third person contact her. You don't go where she lives. You don't go where she works. You don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you'll be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact, so if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision that she gets to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them that she is not interested in pursuing this matter, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. I have both of you listed at the same address. If Miss Chapman is still there, you'll have to stay someplace else until we get this case resolved. You can go by one time to grab your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay, but to do that, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They'd meet you there with a deputy who'd stand by while you collected your things and got going where you're going. We'll have you back in court on the 10th of August. Very important, Mr. Rhodes, that you contact the public defender when you bond out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. Thank you. Ryan Rivera. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
5/2/86.
Got 2 counts of stalking, and 1 count of resisting without violence, and 1 count of burglary. I can find probable cause for the burglary, and I can find probable cause for the resisting. The stalking, I don't know, Joe, have you read this one?
Nope.
Okay. It just says on multiple occasions. And stalking being what stalking is, I'm gonna set bonds on these other 2. I'll hold on the stalking charges so we can get a little more detail about what multiple occasions means.
Okay.
So that it fits repeatedly as far as the stalking statute is concerned.
I will get in contact with Deputy Valfrey.
I'm sure they have the information, it's just not here. All right, so Ryan, I'm finding probable cause for the burglary and for the resisting. I'm not going to find probable cause for the stalking yet, but I'm going to hold you for 24 hours on the stalking charges because I believe that the law enforcement probably can provide information so that I can find probable cause on the stalking. But we'll decide that. I'll have you back tomorrow morning on the stalking charges. As to the 2 charges I am finding probable cause on, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Let's see. Willis, 2006. FTA, 2006. On a reckless, who was found guilty of in 2007. Burglary of a conveyance, 2008. Grand theft motor vehicle, 2008. Possession of paraphernalia and resisting, 2008. and sign here, petty theft, 2013. Domestic violence and resisting without, 2013, that was dropped. Probation violation in 2013, failure to appear in 2016, and another probation violation that same year.
Okay. And Ryan, is there any place in particular that you've been staying lately?
Yeah.
What's that? What's the address?
With a friend of mine.
Is there an address?
It's 9423 Lakefront,
All right.
and that's in Wikiwashi.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yeah, part-time,
What do you do?
roofing subcontracted.
Okay. On the burglary, I'll set the bond at $5,000. That's coming back August 13th. On the resisting charge, I'll set the bond at $1,000, and then we're going to hold you for 24 hours on the 2 stalking charges, so you'll be back at first appearance tomorrow morning on those. The resisting will be back on the 8th of August. And then we'll give you some more direction tomorrow after we've talked about the stalking charges, all right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Pardon me, Holly Smith. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
January 10th, 1969.
Smith, they have a charge of driving under the influence. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire a private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll point to PD. State.
He also has leaving the scene of an accident.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
All right, very good.
Because I'm not sure what to do with that.
Let's see. What is that? A battery in 2015, the probation violation to go along with it. Trespassing 2017, another battery in 2017, aggravated battery over in Dade City in 2017. That one was dropped. What else have we got? Assault. This is all in Massachusetts. Assault, 1999. Violation of restraining order, 2001. A couple of those. Breaking and entering, 2002. Possessing burglary tools and a breaking and entering, 2002. All that in Massachusetts.
All right. Mr. Smith, I have an address for you on Gordon Drive in Port Richey. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
How long have you been there?
4 years.
Do you have a job these days?
No, I'm recently unemployed.
Okay. I'm going to leave the bond on the DUI at $1,000. That'll be coming back on the 10th of August. Now, the other thing that appears to have happened is that some Pasco or Florida Highway patrolmen arrested you for things that happened in Pasco County. So either of you guys have some idea what I'm supposed to do with that. Because I don't think I can give him a first appearance on out-of-county charges. I can tell him that they exist, I guess, and that there's bonds on them. But it seems to me this is just going to be a hold. Jail, is that how you're going to deal with these Pasco charges? Is it basically a hold?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't understand.
No, I'm trying to jail staff. I want them to talk to me.
Your Honor, it seems that
I can't hear you. Find a microphone.
the trooper set bonds for and said it was a Pasco charges, so.
Okay.
Bond out.
So I'm just going to inform him of this, and then the situation would be if he could post the bond on my charge and not the Pasco charges, then you guys would have him go to Pasco and get a first appearance down there, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So, Mr. Smith, the other 3 charges we have here are related to things that happened in Pasco County. They're leaving the scene of a crash, driving on a suspended license, and driving with a license expired more than 6 months. The trooper that made those charges set a bond of $1,000 on each count. I lack the authority to change those or to make any determination about probable cause. So, if you can post a bond on the local charge on the DUI, and then can also post a bond on those Pasco charges, you could get out of jail today and then go down to Newport Richie and find out when they want you in court on the Pasco charges. If you can only post a bond on the local charge and not the Pasco ones, then once you posted the bond here, they would get you down to Pasco in the next day or so, and you'd have a chance to see a judge at first appearance on those. If you can't post a bond on any of your charges, then you'll stay here until we resolve the DUI, and then you'll go to Pasco, all right?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Very good. So I have a page 3 with these, but I don't know that I should do anything with it, unless you guys want me to. On demand? You're going to do an on demand one. There you go. Yeah, I'm with you. John Wentworth? Want to start with your date of birth?
8578.
All right, I have 3 charges today. I've got a burglary of a construction site, a grand theft auto, and dealing in stolen property. I've got probable cause for these charges. As to these charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please,
I'll
John.
point the PD. State.
Looks like he's got a pending case in front of Judge Merritt Jr., 18 CF 327 and 303. I'm not sure what the offense is.
327 and 303.
Yep.
Well, those would be much earlier in the year. Can you find those for me, Bridget? There's warrants on them. Okay. All right. What else you got?
Let's see. Possession of a controlled substance, 2005. Possession of paraphernalia, same year. What's that? Possession of cannabis, felony amount, 2005, and a bullets to go along with all that. Battery, 2005. Introduction of contraband, 2005. Possession of meth, 2008. Possession of paraphernalia, same year. Marijuana possession, misdemeanor amount, 2008. Burglary of a structure, 2009. Theft, felony amount, 2010. Another grand theft, 2010. Possession of paraphernalia, same year, 2012. 2 of those. 3 actually. 4. Boy, lots of paraphernalia. Failure to appear, 2012. Burglary of a structure, 2013. 2 of those. Actually 3. Resisting without violence, 2018. And then the failure to appear on the cases I just read off as well.
Okay. All right, John, I've got an address for you on Peaceful Avenue in Weeki-Wachee. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
And are you working these days?
Not anymore, sir.
Okay. All right, on these, I'm going to leave the bonds per the schedule, which on the burglary is $5,000, the grand theft is $2,000, and the dealing is $5,000. That's a total of $12,000. It appears there's a couple of FTA warrants out there for you as well, and those will probably be served today, and then we'll see it tomorrow on those. And these will all be back in court August 13th, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Lonnie Brewer. Morning, Mr. Brewer. What's your date of birth?
1/22/92.
Hang on one second. Okay. The charge is providing false name you look at this one, Joe?
I'm looking at it right now. It's not Mr. Shelfridge.
Well, he's definitely not Mr. Shelfridge, but I'm not sure why he was even being asked who he was. So I'll tell you what, and that all may exist, but we also have a situation here where Lonnie's got warrants out of Polk and Orange County as well.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, Lonnie, for today on this charge is I'm going to find there's no probable cause. That doesn't mean that they might not still charge you, okay? And it doesn't really have any effect on those warrants out of Polk and Orange County. But I'm going to ROR you on this charge today. You do need to be back here in Hernando County for court on the 10th of August. That means that they can deal with one of those holds. I don't know if it'll be Polk or Orange, but probably you'll be back at first appearance tomorrow so we can get you going on those, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good.
We can time serve him if you want.
What's that?
We can time serve him if you want.
I don't know what his other stuff is. I don't know. It's just dicey. And Joe Carter. Want to, sir, what's your date of birth?
32779.
All right, Joe, I've got two charges today: felony domestic battery by strangulation and false imprisonment. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I need public defender, sir.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Throwing a deadly missile, 2000. Resisting without, 2000. Contempt of court. Oh, it's an injunction violation, 2001. Probation violation, 2002. Battery, 2004. A couple of those. Witness tampering, 2004. He has a habit of violating court orders. 2008. Battery. Another battery, 2009. Another one. Two of those. Resisting without in 2009. Witness intimidation. 2013, go along with the battery the same year. Burglary to a structure, 2014. And it looks like there might be out-of-state stuff. I got two printouts for some reason. I'm not going to deal with that right now, though.
Joe, I got an address for you in Tampa Street. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
I've been there 2 years.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
Was that a yes?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I do well drilling.
Okay.
Do water welding.
Okay. So I'm going to set the bond at $5,000 in each count. The total is 10. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Ashley Frock. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Also, I have to hold you up until 4 p.m., so if she wants to serve you with a civil injunction, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating that injunction. I'll have you back in court on the 17th of August. If you're able to bond out, make sure you contact the PD right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Thanks, folks.